I planned the dinner like it meant something. 10 years of marriage. A milestone. A mark. I grilled the steaks just the way she liked them, medium rare with rosemary butter. I opened the bottle of Malbec we'd been saving since year 5, the one Amanda said she wanted for something special. I lit candles. Real ones. Set the table. Played the jazz playlist she loved from our early days. Everything was warm. Intentional. Familiar. She smiled when she came downstairs in her soft blue dress, the one I always said made her look like June light. She complimented the food, kissed my cheek, laughed at my toast. She didn't notice I hadn't touched my wine. Because by then I'd already seen the message. She left her phone on the kitchen counter when she went to change. It buzzed. I didn't mean to look. But I did. And there it was. Can't stop thinking about your skin. You smelled like roses last time. Happy anniversary to him, baby. See you soon. No name. Just initials, JM. My mind didn't go blank. It went sharp. Quiet. Cold. I set the phone down. Didn't open it again. Didn't ask. Didn't show it to her. I looked at the plates, at the steaks, at the candles. And then I smiled. I smiled like nothing had happened. Because in that moment, something inside me turned to stone. Amanda sat across from me, telling me about her day. A client she met. A meeting that ran late. A friend she wanted to catch up with this weekend. Her eyes were bright. Her voice never cracked. I nodded. Ate slowly. Watched her sip wine like it was holy. We danced once. In the living room. Slow and quiet. The song was familiar, but I don't remember the words. I remember the weight of her head on my chest. The warmth of her fingers. The perfume. Roses. She went to bed early. Said she was tired. I kissed her forehead, pulled the blanket up to her shoulder. Then I went downstairs and sat in the dark. I didn't cry. Didn't curse. Didn't pace. I opened my laptop. Looked up J.M. in her email. Found him. Jordan Myers. Personal trainer. Younger. Single. A few shared photos buried in cloud storage. Messages about missed sessions and late meetings. She never even tried to hide it. She just assumed I wouldn't look. That I trusted her enough to not check. And she was right. Until tonight. I printed 2 photos. One of him. One of us at year 3. Holding hands in Savannah, laughing at a bird that stole our fries. I stared at them side by side. And I waited. Amanda never stirred. I barely blinked. By sunrise, I had a plan. I smiled when she woke up. Made coffee. Didn't mention a thing. I watched her pack her gym bag. Watched her kiss my cheek again. She said, I might head to my sister's tonight. Girl time. I nodded. My heart didn't race. It pulsed like an engine just starting to turn. I wasn't going to confront her. I wasn't going to ask. I already knew the answers. I knew the look on her face wouldn't be guilt. It would be pity. The worst kind. I didn't want an apology. I wanted the truth to walk through my door. So I waited. I made the house look lived in. Kept the music soft. Left the lights off. I sat in the shadows, across from the couch, by the bookshelf she never dusted. And I watched the front door. The silence was thick, warm, electric. I could feel my pulse in my fingertips. I thought about our wedding day. The vows. The promises. The friends who clapped. The way Amanda smiled when she said, "I choose you." I wondered when she stopped choosing me. I wondered if it hurt. I wondered if it ever even crossed her mind. The phone buzzed again. Upstairs. I didn't check it this time. I didn't need to. Because it was already too late. The dinner. The candles. The toast. Everything had already died. I just hadn't buried it yet. For 7 days, I became the man no one noticed. I smiled. I fixed the kitchen cabinet she'd been asking about. I folded her laundry, made her coffee, kissed her goodbye at the door. She thought I was healing. That I'd gone soft. But I wasn't healing. I was watching. Her phone patterns. Her GPS pings. Her lies about client meetings that ended near his apartment. Her shower schedule. The new gym bag. The key she thought she hid well in the planter by the porch. Jordan had been to my house before. Too many times. He knew where the forks were. Where the good wine was kept. Where she liked to be touched. I watched the door camera. Watched him enter like he belonged. Sometimes, he stayed long enough to cook. I imagined him walking through my life like it was his. Amanda said she was visiting her sister that Thursday night. Her voice was too casual. Too smooth. I kissed her cheek. Told her to have fun. She left in a dress I hadn't seen in months. At 8:47 p.m., he came through the door. The moment felt smaller than I expected. No grand music. No heartbeat pounding in my ears. Just the creak of hinges. The shuffle of shoes on wood. A man in a black shirt with a gym bag over his shoulder, eyes scanning for her. He didn't even get to call her name. The gun was already in my hand. One shot. Straight to the chest. He hit the rug hard. The one she insisted on buying from Savannah. Blood soaked into the fabric before I even exhaled. I placed the gun on the table. Walked to the porch. Called 911. "This is Donovan Pierce. I just shot a man in my home. He was sleeping with my wife. I'm unarmed. I'll be here." They arrived fast. Too fast. Blue and red lit up the house like it was a movie set. They asked no questions. Cuffed me. I didn't resist. I didn't blink. Amanda came 30 minutes later. Her scream echoed through the neighborhood. Then, silence. The kind that breaks things. News trucks rolled in before sunrise. The trial was set. Self-defense. No. Premeditation. Second-degree murder. They showed the jury the gun. The camera footage. The texts I printed. The folder I built. They said it wasn't rage. It was execution. Amanda testified. Said I'd never raised my voice. Never hit her. But when the prosecutor asked if I scared her now, she hesitated. Too long. That pause said everything. Some people online called me a hero. Said I was justified. That every betrayed man had a right to draw a line. But courts don't care about heartbreak. They care about bullets. The verdict was clear, guilty of second-degree murder. 12 years. Eligible for parole in 7. And I never said I was sorry. Because I wasn't. The courtroom smelled like varnish and fear. Every seat was filled. Reporters. Neighbors. Strangers who just wanted a front row view of the fallout. No one looked at me directly. Except the prosecutor. She stared like she already knew who I was, a man who waited in the dark with a gun and a grudge. My lawyer said the defense was simple: unlawful entry. Self-defense. Jordan had no right to be in my home. The door had not been left open for him. The key was not his. But the prosecution was relentless. They showed the printed texts, the folder of surveillance footage, the purchase record for the gun. They played the 911 call. And then they said what everyone in the room was thinking. This was not fear. This was vengeance. Amanda took the stand on the second day. She wore black. A color too calculated to be coincidence. Her voice trembled. She told them I had never been violent. Never shouted. Never raised a hand. But when they asked if she had feared for her life that night, she paused. That pause cost me everything. Her silence, thick and heavy, told the jury more than any words could. She was afraid. Maybe not before. But now. And fear, once planted, takes root. The cross-examination was messy. The defense tried to push her. When did the affair start? How many times had Jordan been to the house? Did he have permission to enter? Amanda deflected. Dodged. Claimed not to remember. No one in that courtroom believed her. But they didn't need to. Because none of us were telling the full truth. Not me. Not her. Not the man lying in a coffin whose name still echoed like a curse. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. When they came back, the courtroom held its breath. Guilty. Manslaughter. Not premeditated murder. But not self-defense either. A middle ground that satisfied no one. The judge sentenced me to 12 years. Eligible for parole in 7. Amanda didn't cry. She didn't look at me when I was led away. But I saw her hands shake as she stood. And in that moment, I realized the verdict had done nothing. Justice hadn't been served. It had been diluted. Stretched thin. Folded into legal language and cold judgment. I sat alone in my cell that night and thought about everything that hadn't been said. That we had both stopped loving long before the message. That silence can be more violent than screams. That I didn't pull the trigger because of the affair. I pulled it because of the years I spent disappearing. When a man has nothing left to lose, he doesn't shout. He waits. And when the time comes, he chooses silence one last time just before the shot. Would I do it again? Yes. But next time, I'd aim for the heart. Prison is quieter than I expected. Not peaceful. Just quiet in a way that makes your thoughts louder. No one has come to visit. No letters. No postcards. No one asking how I'm doing or what I'm reading. The guards don't make eye contact. My name is replaced with a number. My number is called at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 5 p.m., and lights out at 9. Amanda never wrote. They say she moved away. South, maybe. Or west. She left Macon within weeks of the verdict. Cleared out the house, sold the car, deleted her social media. Like she was never there at all. No one knows where she went. But people talk. They say she walks like someone still being followed. In town, my name lingers. In barber shops, on porches, whispered between folded arms and beer bottles. I'm not a headline anymore. I'm a story. A warning. A way to fill the silence after football scores. They don't say, he was jealous. They say, he was invisible, and she never saw it. They don't say, he lost his mind. They say, he lost his marriage a long time ago and no one noticed. They call it a crime of passion. But they're wrong. It was a crime of absence. Absence of love. Of conversation. Of warmth. You don't kill for something you have. You kill for something that's been gone so long, you start to believe it never existed at all. Jordan was just the placeholder. The real loss happened over dinners eaten in silence. Over smiles that didn't reach the eyes. Over nights spent back to back in bed, more strangers than spouses. I'm not angry anymore. Just empty. Not the kind of empty that hurts. The kind that just exists. People ask me if I regret it. If I wish I'd walked away. Sometimes I do. Other times, I think about the silence I lived in. The way it wrapped around me like plastic. Tight. Invisible. Deadly. Amanda didn't kill me. But she stopped seeing me. And eventually, I stopped seeing myself. They say I'll be up for parole in 3 years. I don't know if I'll take it. Out there, I'm the man who killed his wife's lover. In here, I'm the man who finally made a sound loud enough to be heard. Even if that sound was a gunshot. Even if it cost me everything. Because love didn't die the night I pulled the trigger. It had already been gone for years. The only thing left that night was the echo. Donovan's story ended in blood and silence. But our next story starts with something colder, betrayal from family. Camila from Athens thought the man from her past had returned out of love. She didn't know he was a trap. A setup. Planned by the one person she trusted most, her own sister. The motive? Inheritance. A husband worth millions. And a revenge buried in childhood. In episode 5 of 10 True Affair Stories from Georgia, the affair wasn't the crime. The conspiracy was. Subscribe now. Because in the next story, blood isn't thicker than money.